Good morning, Safari. It's Friday, the 24th of April, and we're going to read 4 more chapters of The Great Smelling Bee. When we left off, Bernie was in a predicament. He had gotten his pets, and he had to figure out how to hide them, but his arch enemy, Sherman Oaks, had found out about him. And then he was in class, and his dog showed up outside the window with the lunch lady's leg, and Mrs. Heine said she'd be checking on him. Then Sherman Oaks had kidnapped his dog Gassy and was taking Gassy to Headmaster Upchuck's house. And what does Sherman Oaks want? For Bernie to get in trouble and get thrown out of school. Let's see what Bernie does to save Gassy or not save Gassy. Chapter 11, Meow. Think fast, Bernie. Turning, I saw Belzer strolling across the grass. I waved to him. Belzer, get over here, hurry! Belzer bounced over to me, his stomach bumping up and down under his t-shirt. What's up, Big B? He asked. Shh, no time to explain, I said. I pulled Belzer over to Gassy. When he saw me, the dog's stubby tail started wagging like crazy. Gassy knew I was going to rescue him. I tugged the leash off Gassy. I gave him a gentle slap on the butt, and Gassy trotted away. Then I slid the leash over Belzer's neck. Quick, sit, I said. Belzer sat down in the grass with the leash around his neck. Good boy, I said. I petted him on the head. When Headmaster Upchuck comes out, here's what you say. He tied me up. Sherman tied me up. Get it? Got it, Big B, Belzer said. He flashed me a thumbs up. How long do I have to wear this leash? No time to answer. The door to Headmaster's house swung open. Sherman started to pull Headmaster Upchuck to the tree. The headmaster is a tiny man about the same height as us fourth graders. He wears the same gray suit every day. I think he took it off a ventriloquist's dummy. I darted behind a nearby bush. Then I peeked out and watched. Sherman looked very excited. He had a big smile on his face. I have proof that Bernie Bridges has a pet at school, he told the headmaster. Here it is, Bernie's dog. Headmaster Upchuck stared down at Belzer. Belzer sat on the grass, looking sad. He tugged at the tight leash around his neck. He tied me up, Belzer cried. Sherman tied me up. Sherman's mouth dropped open. His eyes bulged. Headmaster Upchuck scowled at him. Is this some kind of joke? He growled. You know I don't have a sense of humor. I don't get jokes. But, Sherman sputtered. Untie Belzer, Headmaster Upchuck ordered. We have a school rule against tying up other students. Yes, sir, Sherman said weakly. He slid the leash off Belzer. Belzer rubbed his neck. And just at that moment, a sound came out of Sherman's backpack. A very loud meow. What was that? Headmaster Upchuck demanded. Nothing, Sherman answered. It sounded like a cat, Belzer said. Another loud meow poured out of the backpack. Sherman Oaks, are you hiding a pet? The headmaster asked. Open your backpack, at once. Sherman sighed and pulled off his backpack. He unzipped it and pulled out his metal cat. The cat meowed, dropped to the grass, and clawed at Headmaster Upchuck's pant legs with both paws. He tore my pants, Headmaster Upchuck cried. Get him off me! He's shredding my pants! Sherman struggled to pull the cat away, but he couldn't tear the cat off the headmaster's pants. Belzer found me behind the bush. We took off trotting toward Rottenhouse. An awesome afternoon. Behind us, I could hear Headmaster Upchuck screaming at Sherman. Shut that thing off! Shut it off! And give me the batteries! Score 1 for Bernie B. Look what fell out of Sherman's backpack, Belzer said. He handed me a wad of raffle tickets. Oh, wow. These are the 10 raffle tickets I sold him. I said, terrific. I'll sell them to him again at twice the price. I shoved them into my pocket. I felt good, but I knew the pet war wasn't over. I knew Sherman wouldn't give up, and Mrs. Heine would be in my room tonight. My sweet pets weren't safe. Chapter 12, Doomed. At dinner in the dining hall, I ate my food and Belzer's too. Being brilliant takes a lot of energy. After dinner, most of the guys went to their rooms to do homework. Feeman and Crunch and I studied too. We studied some PlayStation games in the common room. When I glanced at the clock, it was nearly 9. Oh, wow, nearly 9, and I realized I was doomed. I heard Mrs. Heine coming downstairs. It was time for 9 o'clock lights out and the goodnight handshake. I hurried to my room. I covered Lippy's perch. Beak me, he squawked. Beak me. But he settled down after a few seconds. I hoisted Gassy onto the bed and slid him under the covers. Don't move a muscle, I told him. Shut your beak, Lippy called. I threw a dozen or so t-shirts over his stand to muffle the sound. I sat down on the bed and tried to cover the big lump. Could I get away with this? Through my open door, I saw Mrs. Heine in the other room. She was shaking hands with Feeman. Good night, Mrs. Heine, Feeman said. She shook hands with Crench and Belzer. Put the balloons away, she told Crench. You can make more funny noises tomorrow. The three guys giggled like madmen. Mrs. H turned and headed into my room. This was it, the big test. Hello, Mrs. H, I said. Beautiful night, isn't it? Shut your beak, Lippy squawked. Lippy's voice was muffled, but she could still hear him. Mrs. Heine squinted at me through her glasses. What did you say? I said, come take a peek. That's what I plan to do, Mrs. Heine said, gazing around. Eat feathers, Lippy squawked from his cage. Bernie, what did you say? Mrs. H repeated. I said lovely weather. Mrs. Heine began searching my room for pets. She sniffed around in every corner. She searched my closet. She went through my dresser drawers. She even got down on her knees and searched under my bed. I don't like that smile on your face, Bernie, she said. I know you're hiding pets in here. Somewhere. I'm only smiling because I'm happy to see you, I said. I flashed her my best dimples. You bring a little sunshine to all of us boys, Mrs. H. Cut the baloney, she said. She sighed. I can't find any animals. Guess I'll say good night. She started to shake my hand, then stopped. Her eyes bulged, and her mouth dropped open. She was staring at the bed, staring because Gassy had poked his head up through the covers. Gassy had his head on the pillow, staring up at Mrs. H. I can explain this, I said. Chapter 13. The New Student. Think fast, Bernie, think fast. Mrs. Heine, have you met the new student, I said. She blinked several times. New student? Yes, he arrived today. Meet, Barry Bone. Mrs. Heine squinted at Gassy. Welcome to Rottenhouse, Gassy burped. Mrs. Heine turned to me. I'm shocked. I don't believe you're sharing your room. You've never wanted a roommate. You always wanted to be by yourself. Oh, well, I wanted to give the new kid a break, I said. You know, help him get a good start. That's so nice of you, Bernie, Mrs. Heine said. A big gob of drool ran down Gassy's chin. I stepped behind him and hugged him to cover the drool. Bertie, what are you doing? Mrs. Heine asked. I'm starting a new tradition, I told her. A nightly handshake and a nightly hug. I tightened my hug around Gassy. Mrs. Heine had a tear in one eye. Bernie, I never knew you had such a sweet side. A nightly hug is a wonderful idea. She stepped forward and stuck out her hand. Barry, welcome to Rottenhouse. We shake hands every night. I still had a tight hug around the dog's middle. I stuck out my hand, and she shook it. And good night to you, too, Bernie, she said. I stuck out my hand again, and she shook it again. Mrs. Heine turned and headed out the door. Bernie, he's quick. Yay, talk about a close one. As soon as Mrs. Heine was gone, Feeman and Belzer and Crench hurried into my room. Bernie, she almost caught you, Feeman said. That new student idea was brilliant. Brilliant, Belzer repeated. But she'll catch on, Crench said. What are you going to do? No problem. We'll do it right, I said. We'll enroll Barry in school. Chapter 14. Jelly Beans. I listened until Mrs. H climbed the stairs to her apartment in the attic. I heard her door close. Then Feeman, Crench, and I got dressed and tiptoed out of the door. It was a cool, breezy night. Very dark, no moon or stars. Our sneakers slid over the wet grass. I was in a hurry. Feeman and Crench had to jog to keep up with me. Tell me again, Bernie, Feeman whispered. Why are we sneaking into the headmaster's office? To enroll the new student, I said. We made our way to Upchuck's building. He was asleep. All the lights were out upstairs. We sneaked in through a back window. Our flashlights danced over the walls. The headmaster had a big desk cluttered with papers and files. A desktop computer sat at one side. On the wall, I saw 2 framed photographs. One was of Headmaster Upchuck in a black graduation robe. The other showed him at some theme park shaking hands with SpongeBob SquarePants. Weird. Hey, check it out, Crench whispered. He keeps a jar of jelly beans on his desk. Crench pulled off the lid and helped himself. Feeman grabbed a few from the jar. Yo, Crench, what's your favorite flavor? Cucumber, Crench said. I love the cucumber ones. I like the white ones that have no flavor at all, Feeman said. Those are awesome. We're not here for jelly beans, I said. This is serious. Did you forget? Feeman and Crunch swallowed. What do we do, Bernie? Go through the stack of papers, I said, beaming my light on the desk. Find the new student file. They began pawing through the stack. I moved to the file cabinets against the wall and began to search. Found it, I whispered, pulling out a thick file. Okay, dudes, we're in business. I spread the file out on the desktop. Here we go. Registration form. Keep your light on it. Hey, Crunch, what are you doing? I got a green onion one, he said. Awesome. He tossed a few more jelly beans into his mouth. Mmm, tomato. I pulled out my pen and leaned over the registration form. Hey, Bernie, what's up with this? How is this going to work? Feeman asked. I enrolled Gassy as a transfer student, I said. If Gassy's a student, he can't be a pet, right? And if he's not a pet, I can't be kicked out of school. But, Feeman stammered, it won't work. It can't work. Take it easy, I said. He won't be the only student in the school who walks on all fours. Crunch was grabbing for the jelly beans again. He was no help at all, but Feeman held his flashlight over the new student form, and I filled it out. I wrote Gassy's new name on the form, Barry A. Bone, then I scribbled stuff over the rest of the page. I'm so proud. Barry's going to be a rotten student, I said. Crunch, get away from the jelly beans. Open that supply closet over there. Find Barry a school t-shirt and a cap. Crunch opened the closet and began to search through the shelves of shirts and sweatshirts. Problem, Bernie, he said. They don't have a dog size. Never mind that, I said. Just get a large. He handed me a shirt and a cap. Better get me 2 shirts, I said. Barry spits up a lot. Crunch handed me another shirt. Okay, we're done. Let's get out of here, I said. I've got to get Barry ready for school tomorrow. We started to the door, but Crunch just couldn't resist. He saw 2 dark beans resting on the desk. He picked them up and popped them into the mouth. He chewed for a moment, then he made a disgusting face. Ugh, sick! These taste awful! That's because they're not jelly beans, I said. That was mouse poop. And that's where we stop for today. So we're going to find out, how is Barry A. Bone going to be a student at Rotten School? I'm pretty sure Bernie has it figured out. Siegel Safari, have a great weekend. Get out, do something fun. I know it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but do something creative. Watch a movie with your family. I miss you so much, and I will read to you again on Monday.